Powered by Riverside FM.
All right, welcome everybody to Choey and Chandler's the fun time, super terrific happy hour. Welcome, Choey.
Welcome, Chandler. I like how you make it sound all enthusiastic. Welcome to
Yeah, I was like, hey, and now on to
you.
you.
You're
Now on
super
to you.
excited, and then your turn.
I'm trying to. I don't want to be yelling the whole time. I'm trying to bring my energy down. I use it all in. Get it all out of my system. All right.
It's
Before we do the holidays, would you like to share congrats? Because I think you know
I'd like
more about it than I do.
this goes out to Bossman, one of our former guests. Hopefully, we'll get him on soon again. He has expressed um, interest in coming back on the podcast. But congratulations to the Bossman. He was recently elected and sworn into the school board position. So he's I'm
Nice.
hoping he can do some good change.
Yeah, that sounds awesome for me. A little cheer sound here. Yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully that came through. If not, I'll turn it up or whatever in post. But yeah, congrats. Choey could have gone to the swear in, but he showed up late. Just so everybody knows. Just kidding, man.
I was 20 feet away from walking in the door, and I got the message. It's already over.
You're like,
Oh,
oh, never mind.
I
But you
guess I
texted him,
don't need
right?
to go.
But you
Wah,
sent him a
wah.
text, right? You're like,
I actually didn't.
did you?
Now that, as you're saying that, I was like, dude, I could probably send him a text congratulating.
No.
But I sent him
Now you're like,
a
yeah,
congratulatory text whenever he got elected. So,
you should get him a singing telegram, like on Ferris Bueller. But
no, better yet, was one of the singing telegrams like that from Friends or the Ross.
oh yeah.
Congratulations from one of your voting constituents. It's good to have constituents. Congratulations.
Yeah. Anyway, move on to the holidays, sir.
Here are today's effing holidays.
See, I'm back to being that thing where I don't hear the sound. Did you hear it?
It came through, yes.
Yeah, and then sometimes it'll come through for us here, but then it doesn't come through on iMovie, and I have to like add it back in. It's just weird. All right,
So,
so headline. Oh, sorry, I was about to jump into headlines. So holidays this week. First off, today is on November 21st, World Hello Day. Join in on World Hello Day and spread a little kindness. Say hello to your friends, family, colleagues, and even strangers, or just play them the nice Choey and Chandler Cheers Around the World song, But hello, everybody.
it's like,
It's
hi.
also hi, yo, hey. Um, Today is also National Gingerbread Cookie Day. Celebrate National Gingerbread Cookie Day with a sweet treat. Bake up some delicious cookies to share with friends and family. Do you like? I love gingerbread. You like gingerbread?
I do. Like, gingerbread is like, it's not like one of my top favorites because I feel like you can eat too much of it to where it kind of gets you wear out. Whereas like chocolate chip
Yeah,
cookies, I don't think I can ever
yeah,
wear out a chocolate chip. But gingerbread is a very good treat, honestly.
yeah. You know what? You bring up an interesting point. I think gingerbread is to me is like candy corn. It's good in moderation. I like it, but I'm not eating it like every day.
Yeah.
Um, so this is a holiday today that did not make the cut. Just so you know, today is World Vasectomy Day. Wah, wah, wah. Ouch.
You you realize like by you saying it didn't make the cut, but still announcing it make the cut. That's interesting.
Well, we're not celebrating. I'm just saying. I'm not going to read anything else
Okay.
on that other than to say it's World Vasectomy Day.
Okay.
Sorry, people. Sorry, pups. Sorry, dogs. Maybe that's why that one dog you have is fat and he gives you that look. It's like, I got nothing better to do than to eat. All right,
Man,
moving
he's
on to the
fat and happy.
headlines, sir.
It's time for this week's edition of Choey and Chandler's headlines. Yay! Hooray!
But is he really happy or could he be happier? I mean, that's the existential
I don't
question,
know.
right?
I mean, he licks certain parts of his body as if he's okay with himself. So I guess
Uh,
he's happy.
yeah, you're like, that inch is clean. Leave it alone. All right.
You're cleaning it too much. It's gonna go off.
uh, yeah, that thing makes me think of something else. So I'm not gonna say it now. I'll say it well off recording. Um, so hey, just like a little follow up to what I was saying last week. My school's had some stuff happening, right? So I'll just give like the facts, right? They found a magazine at school, and I think I explained to you, and I thought initially I thought it was like a Playboy magazine. Then I come to find out it was an ammo magazine. It only had 4 bullets in it. It was in the first grade bathroom. They found nothing else. There was like no threat or whatever made to anybody. So like they did an investigation. Um, everything is cool, right? But it kind of created a hubbub or how do you say like a hullabaloo, whatever. You know, I can't think of the word, right? But it created some
I
issues.
think hullabaloo because I think hubbubub is the gum, right? Or hubba
Yeah,
bubba.
I think I meant like hubbub or whatever. I don't know. But brouhaha, I guess another good. That's one I was thinking of. But it created like a brouhaha because this happened on Veterans Day celebration. Right? We actually apparently had a PTO meeting that night. Um, and parents like, and then the message got sent out by the security people at our district, but it came with like it was like her signature. So all these parents thought she was sending stuff out, and they kind of thought she was covering stuff up and what like it. So it just created like a mess, and then quite a few parents kept their kids home the following day, and some have even kind of like checked them out of our school. But like I said, we didn't do anything wrong. It was safe. Some parent I got lucky that nobody asked me what was going on because I would have even known. I didn't even know anything happened until after school, man. Like I would have been like if a parent asked me like, what did they find in the bathroom? I'd be like, what are you talking about? So like I was in the blue or in the dark, I should say. So
So some
so like
parents like withdrew the kids from school, like unenrolled them.
yeah, and moved them to like another school or homeschool or whatever. But
Wow.
yeah, it's like we did and one of the things that was said is like we did everything in accordance with the policy. And all these parents apparently were like chewing out our two VPs and the principal and apparently like cussing them out because they wanted the name of the student who brought the bullets, right? Well, that's not something they can give out. And I totally agree with that. Like you don't give that stuff out. It's a little kid. But so they got like really irate, really upset about that. But just want to say, that was what was going on last week. Things are a lot better. We're doing our fire drills and all sorts of stuff. I mean, they're like adding new things to the doors. Trying to like more safety precautions and stuff. But it's just crazy, man. I will tell you this. I told you on the phone. I talked to my stepmom that day, and I was just like, man, you and my dad, pops. So like, y'all retired at the right time because we're dealing with some crazy stuff, right? Just crazy stuff, and it's like I think what's even crazier is this what stuff happens at school is it's kind of become the norm, like having to diffuse a lot of not situations like that, but just a lot of like behaviors that you'd be like, oh my god, they deal with this on a daily basis, and it's like, yes, we do, yes, we do.
Like school safety is not a joke. Like, so I'm not like trying to downplay with any of these comments, but like for those parents that like withdrew the kids completely, like that's a lot of naivety like on their part. Because you think about this, and it's a very unsettling thought, but it's the truth. How often do things like that go to school that don't get found because like either somebody doesn't leave them or
Hmm.
doesn't take them out of their bed? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not naive. Whenever I was at a campus, we knew like there were drugs on campus at certain times, more than likely, or potentially like some sort of weapon, maybe not a gun, but like a knife that we didn't like came and went, and we didn't know because nobody noticed it, nobody snitched on them essentially. Because there was
Well,
I caught it in middle school one time, and he had a knife, and it was in his backpack because he used his backpack on the weekends, and his parents he went hunting with his dad, and so he had left the knife in a pouch. And the only reason knew about it is because when he was getting a pencil out, another kid happened to see it in his backpack. He told the teacher,
oh
and then the
man,
teacher reported it.
yeah.
And so
Well, I mean,
like
like we had a good meeting the next day, and they were telling us stuff that we should do. I'm sorry, but dude, I cut you off, man. Finish it.
well, no, so it was just like when I was like, it was an honest mistake on the student's part. Like he didn't mean to do it. Like we had to do something about it. To like, good thing it wasn't like something crazy as far as consequence. But it's one of those like, how often do things like that come, but where somebody doesn't see it, and
Yeah.
therefore nobody reacts.
Well, like I told you, we have a school marshal like at all the schools in my district. So
Yeah.
that's the guy. That's his responsibility. So he found it pretty quick. Apparently, they were able to track down and figure out who the student was within like 10 minutes or less. So they quickly identified who it was and went from there. And but so I mean, like just like I said, yeah. Positive note, nothing serious happened, and we're moving on. But I will tell you this, moving on to my next headline, it kind of goes in conjunction. We had a meeting the following day, and one of the head safety guys for the district came, and he was answering questions and telling us about stuff, right? And as we're leaving, one of my teacher friends, who I do want to get guested, she says she wants to guest on here. I need to talk with her and talk with you. It's kind of one of those things where, and Hooks wants to come back too, and Bossman, we got to like figure out like when it's jiving with everybody, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, we're walking out to the parking lot. This teacher friend was like, "Hey, I'm sorry I brought you to this craziness," you know. And she was at my last school with me. I was like, this is nothing compared to my last school. And there was a third teacher there. She was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is still better than my last school." I was like, I dealt with a lot of craziness there. Here's a story that's funny. It's one of those stories that's funny now, but it wasn't funny when it happened. One of the teachers, another teacher that I worked with at the school, like we'll call her Claire, even though that's not her name, right? Um, she did third grade with me, and then she did second grade with me, but I think the year before she was third grade. And my ex principal at the last school used to like really micromanage to a point, right? And it caused a lot of stress for certain teachers. And Claire, quote unquote Claire, was one of those teachers, and she had some pretty bad health scares to the point where I think she had to get like her husband had to come take her to the hospital. I think she had to get stretchered. I can't remember if she had like a stroke or like a minor stroke or something. But anyway, she's being escorted out. And I can't remember if this is when the ambulance had to come or when her husband did. But if she's kind of being taken to the hospital because she's not in great condition, our principal yells out, "Hey, remember grades are due." This shows how lack of compassionate she was. She's like, "Hey, make sure your grade book's good to go," as she's like being taken to the like. It's just like imagine she runs to her, she's on the gurney, and she's like, "Hey, don't put the sheet on him yet, nurse. She still owes me grade book." And
No,
like it's just crazy.
you revive that teacher. Bring him back.
Yeah, yeah.
Resuscitate. We got grades to put in. I don't want to do it.
Clear. Get the paddles out. It's like clear, but it's like that's the crazy stuff I dealt with there. So this is a little different. Hey, speaking of and you know me, I jump around a lot. When I talked to my stepmom, she was telling me about a teacher that we may have known at Bernie. I didn't recognize the name, but he retired, and he was telling her that like it's gotten real bad there. And that it's a different level in Bernie because you got like a lot of parents that are what we call like hot parents, I guess. Like they're really in
Whining.
tune. Yeah,
Whining.
like they're really hyper like sensitive to what their kids are doing grade wise, and so they're like like they're overdoing it. So or at least so that's going on there. So there's always those plus minuses, right? But my last headline is obviously on a lighter note, right? And then I'll take anything you might have. Um, these kids, I'm pretty sure I said this one of the previous seasons, right? This is season 4, so these kids with water bottles, it's amazing how they drop it and water just goes everywhere, right? So got a good reminder from one of my teachers that I work with now, and I was doing this last year, but I kind of forgot. And so I tell my kids to come in or when they come in, put it on the shelf, right? You're not gonna leave it at your desk. You're not gonna leave it on the floor. Put it on the shelf. You'll get water when you need it. But anyway, last week, it was shortly after I think it was the day our show released last week. 2 kids in the morning just kind of bumped into each other. One of them dropped their water bottle, a nice big Stanley or whatever, right? And as soon as it dropped, the lid immediately popped off. And water, like the thing was full, man. So water went all over the hallway to the point, like I had to buzz the office and I was like, "Hey, when you get a chance, can I get a custodian?" I set 3 chairs up in the hallway, and I still probably could have put more in there. But I had to keep telling. What I thought was funny is I kept telling kids walk around, and kids kept walking through the water, and I'm just like, you guys, like you see these obstacles there. It's like they're trying to get themselves hurt, man.
I thought it was a challenge. Can you
Yes.
navigate?
some smart kid decided to step on the chair, and like I don't tell them constantly, don't do that. It's amazing. Sometimes these kids don't get hurt a lot.
Should have kicked that chair and be like, oh, wonder how that happened.
Oops. Yeah. Oops. But so yeah, I caught that. And then hey, one last thing, I just thought of it. Give me the hurt alert sound one more time.
Hurt alert.
So this is like a frequent flyer for me. I always tell you. I remember I told you that one time this kid hurt his shoulder and he couldn't stand up and walk because he landed on his arm. And I was like, this kid was rolling around in agony today, holding his ear. Told me it was an earache. Couldn't walk. He's like, acting like he couldn't walk, like he's dizzy or whatever, right? So make me think it was like serious. So I sent him to the nurse. Comes back with an ice pack. I see the nurse at the end of the day. I was like, hey, how was so-and-so? She's like, oh, he's fine. He just said his ear hurt. I was like, he complained and whined that his ear was aching, and he was like rolling around on the ground like somebody shot him. And she was like, no, it was just an earache. It's just a little bit red. And he apparently was twisting it in front of her, making it even more red, So this drama guy,
He knows what the visible signs are in order to get it. What he needs.
Yeah. If he watched Ferris Bueller, puts his thermometer under the light. I got 120-degree fever. I'm gonna die, Mr. Bing.
Yeah, I tried that one time. My fever was like 113. My parents were like, I was like, I'm hot. They're like, yeah, okay.
They're like, let's take you to the hospital now. Clear. It would have been funny. Like, well, Choey, sorry to have to say this. 113-degree fever. I don't think you're gonna make it. Who do you want us to give your toys to? Which your brother? Who's gonna be in your room when you pass away? Okay. So they should reverse psychology you.
They kind of did, because they told me that the only medicine I'd be able to take would have been a suppository. When I asked and they explained what that was, I was like, nope.
You're like, you would have surprised them. You're like, do it. They're like, really?
You're bluffing. Go for it.
You got any headlines, sir?
No. Not that I can think of that.
You're like, not to follow that one up, right? All right, I'm gonna end it right
follow
here.
A proctology reference.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to the break right here. It's the end of the first part of the show. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, so I hit stop with the.
We say prost, Gumby, cheers mate, and cheers mate again, or simply cheers. Sometimes it's all toss Santa, other times it's cheers up. You effing hoser, We also say sorday, salute saluti, or tage, skull. Let's all say Nazdarovia in the Russian way. In Vietnam we shout out yo, Walugi Wawa makes South Africa glow. In Portugal it's a solid soul. In Budmo, Ukraine's here to stay. In Thailand we clink and shout out Sean. Then back to the bar till the liquor's gone. For Jamaica it's allowed you mourn. No matter the place we drink till dawn. In India we say cheers or body hole. Hungary says he just did it, don't go too slow. New Caledonia joins in with a la vote, let it flow. In Taiwan we shout out Ganbei. And Singapore says Yam Sing all the way. Cheers, cheers around the world.
Do a little lighter in the sky.
I like how you raised the roof there, right?
Hey, so I got.
Hi there, I'm here to help Choey and Chandler to read an advertisement for BuyBlacket.com. Please shop BuyBlacket.com. Are you looking for unique gifts at unbeatable prices? Then look no further. BuyBlacket.com has quality merchandise for everyone on your list, from gifts for cat and dog lovers to American fans, beer enthusiasts, and even Jesus lovers. As for teachers, we didn't forget about you. Please don't miss our funny attire to brighten up your classroom. So bring a smile to your loved ones' faces and shop BuyBlacket.com today. Tell them Choey and Chandler sent you.
Hi there, Ryan Reynolds here on behalf of my friends Choey and Chandler. You may know me from movies where I either save the world or ruin Thanksgiving. But today, folks, I'm not here to sell you cologne, crypto, or questionable NFTs. I'm actually here to tell you about Fish.audio. This isn't really me talking right now. This is my voice, made by Fish.audio, which frankly is terrifying. It sounds exactly like me, and trust me, I've heard my voice in 87 trailers. This is better. Whether you're a podcaster with a potato microphone, a game developer building an army of space dolphins, or just lonely and want a perfect Morgan Freeman to read your grocery list out loud to you, Fish.audio has you covered. Fish.audio is easily one of the best voice generation platforms I have ever used, which is saying something, because I've done voiceover for a toothpaste brand in 4 languages I don't even speak. And speaking of that, Fish.audio is cross-lingual, which means it supports 13 different languages. Their amazing program also allows you to clone voices. Fish.audio make your voice legendary, or at least make my voice say weird things. I legally can't stop you either way.
All right, back from break, Joe. Hey, next week I'm gonna start playing the holiday song. I've sent it to you along with one of my new couple renditions. What are your thoughts so far on the holiday tune? Do you like it?
Love the holiday one. I really
Yeah.
like. I was texting you earlier that the new one with Finland.
Uh-huh.
Like it just inspired me on the way to work, though, man. Like I was like, I could see it. I could have honestly sent you a text like 15 times longer. Like I was like, man, I already got like scenes worked out for a movie.
Dude, that's good. I like the scene. So I emailed you some ideas, right?
Yeah,
And I feel like the ideas that I emailed you, you could like put together. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, these are like ideas that could be like what the movie's mainly about, but it's like we could take bits and pieces and just put them together. So having ideas for scenes makes life a lot better, a lot easier. But no, I also sent my friend, she had guest starred, I think it was like season 1 or whatever. One of the times when you got busy way back in season 1, I called her Jessica Rabbit, right?
yeah.
And so I texted her a couple of the holiday song, and then I think I sent you one of the other ones. It's kind of like a little mix, little mesh of country rock or whatever. And I love the song, but I told her it's one of those ones where I feel they get more incoherent as the song gets longer, right? And I'm just like, we've joked, but it's like sound like they're drunk because they've been drinking all around the world. And she was like, really? She's like, I didn't hear that at all. I was like, how do you not understand? I told her, I was like, I texted her, like, I've made hundreds of these songs with these lyrics. So it's really easy for me now. My ear is tuned to be like, that's not what it's supposed to sound like. And like, and I'll go back and replay it. Like, yeah, like, oh, yeah, they messed up here.
You're
So,
like a music producer. You're like,
but,
no, let's run that one back.
yeah, take 500. Nope, that's not a good enough reaction or whatever. But all right, man. So
What
here's the
what
second
trips me
half.
out?
I'm sorry.
What trips me out real quick before we go? Like, what trips me out though is like you send me these songs and it sounds like it bothers me that AI can do it so well like that because I'm like, God, man, like because it sounds like a real person. It's not like when you get like the automated voice. It's like, thank you for calling USAA.
Yeah.
Press 1. And it's not like that. So it's like, God, that's natural. Like, at what point are we gonna have just like computer generated all sorts of entertainment? Like, why pay an artist when you could just generate 10 songs for an album in like 2 minutes?
Yeah. And I had a friend of mine told me a couple years ago before I even stumbled across Suno and stuff, the AI was gonna like replace movies, and I was just kind of like, why? I was like, why would you want? He was kind of telling me, he's like, you could have an AI like do Tom Hanks or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I know, but they can't do Tom Hanks like Tom Hanks can do Tom Hanks. I was like, why not just have Tom Hanks do it? But you know what's gonna trip you out even more about those songs? Not only how realistic they sound, but dude, it is like less than a minute they pop out a song. And dude, it's like honestly, it's less than 20
This
seconds.
is crazy.
Yeah, but all right, man. So first off, I was thinking about, or not thinking about. I started a Patreon account for us, and I was posting for every new country we get. Choey's gonna get a tattoo of your flag on his body somewhere, right? I get.
It's like, do I get to pick where I get to put it?
It's all over your chest, right? All over your neck. You know,
Like this looks like a Cadillac almost.
yeah, it's like or like a NASCAR,
There you
like
go.
sponsorship. But I do have to come clean and be like, I miscounted with you last episode. It's 36 countries, 35 plus the US. I don't know where I added 2 from. And I feel really bad because I'm a math teacher. I was like, oops.
That's
So
still a lot of tattoos though.
oh, it is. It is. It's still coming. But I realized, we got Denmark, we got Sweden, we got Finland, we got Norway. That's the whole Scandinavia Viking country from way back when. So we got one little area that we can say that's all ours.
Not that I would do it, but it'd be it'd be like a fun little like fill in the map. Like as you get it, like you color the next country or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would do it. That's like have the globe on my back or something like that, and just color them in as we go.
I do want to. I'm gonna get something around my leg, like globe wise, because of my Navy time. But I'm not gonna get all those flags. I mean, that's a lot. That'd take up like a whole leg. If you just did even little flags would like take up a whole leg.
So hey, we lost this country, so I guess you have to get that one removed.
And you're like, oh. All right. So first, I'm gonna start off here with a little story time, courtesy of Chandler Bing. Okay. And I want you to jump into your time machine and go way back to Monday, Joseph. Yeah, long trip, right? We had a fire drill. No, hold up. I need to start this story. By the way, this is already starting like Chandler time, bouncing back and forth. We have a class hamster. Have I mentioned that? Because I don't know if I've told you that.
I think you said you were going to get it.
Yeah, so I always get a class hamster. We have a class hamster. They named him Oreo. Yeah, I told you because one of the names that someone was suggesting was Blackie, and I was just like, I got like a couple of kids that are African American in my class, and so I did my best to try and make sure that one didn't make it past the first round because I was like, that sounds a little offensive, But anyway, anytime there's a fire drill, we always get the hamster, right? So I'm grabbing the hamster because we're not gonna leave the hamster in the fire. Especially when it's really easy for us to grab. Now, it always creates a little bit of a kerfuffle because all these kids, they get distracted by the hamster. Like, ooh, it's so cute, right? Because you pick up the hamster cage, the hamster's moving around, so he wakes up. We wake him up, right? Well, it just so happened we're doing the fire drill, and we always have to go up this hill to get away from the school. That's our position. And the bottom part of the cage just came out, just dropped. Right? Cool. And so like the hamster and everything, like he falls on the ground. Luckily this hamster isn't he's one of my more docile ones. He doesn't like to run away. But like I'm trying to it took me a while to get him. Just cause like not that he was running around, I just like he wouldn't let me grab him. And he'd go like 2 inches or whatever. And he's kind of squealing when I grabbed him. But like I'm trying to get the kids up the hill, right? Trying to check in through Raptor Alert to let them know that we're accounted for, and I'm also trying to get the hamster cage back on, all at the same time. It was like utter chaos, and teachers are like, "Hey, Mr. Bing, do you need help?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I was like, one of them, she's like, "Hey, I'll log you into Raptor real quick," and I was like, "Okay," but it was taking her a lot longer to find me. I was like, you know what? I got the cage on enough. I was actually holding it like a football under my left arm. It wasn't completely attached, but at least he couldn't get loose. And then I was doing it with my right hand, but it was just like if the whole Murphy's Law thing. What can happen, what can go wrong, will go wrong, man.
You know what I like about the story?
What
is the fact that during the first part of the our episode, you saw hullabaloo or whatever, and then you said it's like the one where Chandler goes forward in time to be an old man.
Yeah, exactly.
Kerfuffle.
Yeah, kerfuffle. Now I'm trying to think of the other word I said at the beginning of the episode where I finally like, oh, that's what I wanted.
It was like hullabaloo. You said like hubba.
Yeah, but I said hullabaloo, but there was something else I was actually thinking of, and then I finally realized it. And I was like, oh, that's what I wanted. But yeah, you're right.
Whippersnappers.
Whipper, yeah. Dude, see, now you're sidetracked. I'm gonna come back to that in a minute because I have a reply to the whippersnapper one. But no, like when the hamster, when it cage initially like bottomed out, there's so many kids like ran. I was like, go, get away, I got this. You know, like I got it. You know, go back in line, go do what you're supposed to be doing. Don't worry about this. But no, so you said whippersnapper, and I know I've told you this before, and I bet we've even mentioned about it on episodes before. But you know, you always like to joke that we're old, right? Yeah. I mean, we're older. I don't think we're old, but I didn't start feeling quote unquote old until I started saying, you know, back in my day, or when I was your age, right? And so I'll say it now, but every time I say it, I'm always like, damn it, I'm like that now, you know? I wonder if when we were back, if we were this age, or the age now, like the kids were, and adults then were saying what we're saying now, if that same thought went through their head, where they're like, oh man, I just crossed that threshold, you know?
I wonder. Yeah, because I mean, you know, I just remember like, when you get to be my age, it's like, whatever. But
yeah.
I'm like, oh, look, when you get to be my age.
I say like when let me get on my soapbox real quick, and they're like, what? And I was like, you know, I haven't told the kids this. I just told friends of mine. I'm at the age, I don't know if you are, where I'm making those sounds when you sit down and get up. You know, where you're like, ah, you're like, yeah, that's anyway. So yeah, that's story time there with Chandler Bing and Choey. Nice little, you know, what would you call it? Little PS, little excerpt, you know, little, you know, epilogue, as they call it in the book titles. Post-credit scene. Now I'm going to move on to a little wine and cheese corner. It's been a while since I've done some wine and cheese corner, so.
She has.
It has, you know. I always like to be classified over here, or, you know, classified, dignified, classy, you know. That's Chandler meshing words. I know I've talked about, there's another side story. Again, I don't think you said you've ever watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it was a great show, dude. But one of the things they like to do, one of those gags, is they like take words and they like blend them together. Like bingo and jackpot, they combined it and it's bing pot, right? Or, you know.
I don't even know why I laughed at that. That was stupid. But okay.
No, but it's stupid, but it's still funny when they're like bing pot, or they're like they did snacks in an accident. And they're like, it's a snackcident, you know, or so it's just a made up word. So I didn't mean to say classified, but I did mean to not be classy. I wanted to be a little bit extra, and clearly I screwed it up. So, but on this edition of Chandler and Choey's Wine and Cheese Corner, hearing a kid yell out or whine, I want my free time. And when I say yell out, Choey, I mean yell out. So we have kids that are on autism spectrum. We have a token board, you know, incentives kids work towards. And I think I've explained I handle these kids a little bit different. I'm not saying I'm mean. I'm just firm with them, you know? Like, I just don't let them just do whatever. And so yesterday he was working towards his computer time in reading class. He didn't do any work. He just goofed around. So when he tried to get on the computer, the teacher didn't allow him. And he started getting upset. And apparently, then that was right near the end of that class. So we were rotating. He was going to go from reading to science and social studies. And he was already in the hallway because apparently he got mad. He was kind of like, I don't know, picking up stuff, or maybe looked like he was going to throw things. So they had like one of the spec ed people kind of come down and help with behavior. So he's in the hallway, and now we're rotating, and then he just loses his shiitake mushrooms, dude. And he's screaming outside my door, right? Trying to get into the other class, you know, like, and the doors are locked, you know, so you can't get in. So he's just screaming. There's like, I don't know how many adults there are, but it's so loud. One of my other autistic students she starts about losing her stuff because of the noise, right? And so luckily at that time of the day, one of my collab partners was in there. So I was like, hey, you want to take her for a walk? And she was about to, and then one of the other adults in the hallway was like, I'll take her for a lap, because I'll take her like for a lap around the school to help her kind of calm down. But that's how, like, that kid was just freaking out, right? And he's just like screaming like, I want my free time, I want my free time. And it was so loud. I'm trying to teach over it, and kids in my class are like, I think it's so and so. They're like trying to figure out who it was, and I was like, ignore it. And they're like, we can't. And literally, dude, you couldn't ignore it. It was so loud. But I was still like, I know, but I'm still trying to block it out, boys and girls. You don't have to focus on it or whatever. But so it was crazy, you know. And then anyway, today, that same kid this morning, he has math with me in the morning. He started to almost lose it, right? And he'd been working with me very well. He had one question to do. My collab partner came in. I was like, hey, you this group you go work with Miss So and So. I want to work with some other students, right? And I start to hear him get frustrated and start about to be screaming. And so I walked away from my group and was like, hey, I want you to try this problem. I'll be right back. And I go over there with him, and like I said, I just leaned down with him, and he's screaming. And I was like, what do you got? I was like, you know what you have to do first. What do we have to do to get on your free time? He's like, I want my computer time. And I was like, I heard you. Stop screaming at me. And I'm talking to him this level. You know what I mean? Like, I'm this voice level. I was like, stop screaming. You know what you need to do. What do you need to do? And then he's like, I got to do my work. And I was like, yes, you got to do your work. I told Miss, I don't want to mention her name, you know, and I haven't thought of a name up for her, whatever, right? But I told Miss So-and-so, my collab partner, I was like, I told him earlier, I was like, he already did one question. With me, he was working really well. All he had to do was do one question with you, and he gets his time. And she's like, yeah, you told me that, Mr. Bing. And look, he did half the question. We're doing 2-part multiplying today and 2-part dividing, like 2-step questions. Yeah. So she's like, he did one step. I was going to do a step 2, and step 2 was a lot easier. I was like, dude, you're so close, man. But like, you know, I calmed him down, but it's just kind of, like I said, yesterday, oh my gosh, it was one of those moments where you're like, you wish, like, I had one of the instructional coaches walked in about 5 minutes later. They pop in to kind of like do observations. And I was like, I wish you'd have been here about 5 minutes ago so you could have heard everything we have to deal with, you know? But that's the life of a 3rd grade collab teacher there, sir.
Sounds
having
fun.
to try and calm down kids when they're screaming because they're not getting their way.
Like, you want your computer? Snap it in half over your knee. There you go.
You want your computer now?
And then just stare at him and do the little 2 fingers on your eyes, 2 fingers in his. Like, I'm watching.
Looking right at you, kid. I love how every story your replies or your rebuttals, I should say, are nothing that what Dr. Cho would do.
Well, no, because I'm not in that right now. I'm not in that mode. I'm in the let's have fun time squirtific happy hour.
Yeah, you're like you know, every time stuff like that happens, I always think about you. Well, I think it was you, the one of the first one that coined it to me. This is a customer service business now, you know, like education.
Yeah.
Where especially as a admin, you got to like really massage egos and feelings, especially of parents. So yeah.
Because otherwise, you get to deal with stuff like you shared earlier in the episode with the whole magazine thing, and people like wanting to withdraw their kids, and it's like, what if that kid hadn't left it in the restroom in the first place? We wouldn't even know it was there. You wouldn't be freaking. We just got to be able to schmooze.
Yeah. I mean, I'm nearly as good as you. I got chewed out earlier this year by one parent, and because she told me that I was making stuff up, that her son had never put hands on any kid, and I was like, ma'am, I totally respect your opinion, but the problem is I saw him do it with my own eyes, and other teachers have seen him do it. So I mean, I'm not making it up. I was like, you're definitely entitled to what you want to believe, but this is true. I'm spitting out facts, you know. But all right, and moving on over to our social media plugs, sir. So feel free, Choey and everybody else, listener land, as he likes to say, to look us up on the X, not Twitter, the X, and TikTok at Choey and Jan. Choey, the letter N, Jan. We are also on Threads and Instagram at Choey and Jan 2, Choey, the letter N, Jantoo. Facebook's Chandler Bing. Again, I always like to apologize to you because I didn't think about it when I named it to be like Choey and Jan. It just automatically created the name. And then YouTube. I know you don't believe me, but I didn't create this either, this handle. But we're at Chandler Bing 969. The 69 was for you, but I didn't do it on purpose. You're a holla back. All right.
9 times.
Yeah, 9 times. All right. Anything you want to add before we pull the plug, sir?
I'm good, sir. We can yank it.
He's like thinking. I don't know if you hear that. I'll have to add it in post. But I'm like, oh, I forgot to hit record. Oops. Do it again.